Yo, 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 and welcome back to another episode of ROIS Podcast. I'm Roy Spencer.
And I'm Johnny Rodriguez, and this is ROIS Podcast. Today, we got a very special guest, old friend. He's an engineer, and he's been investing for a little bit now. Very smart man, as you can tell with the glasses. His name is Mr. Nick Ozog. Give it up, guys. Woo, yeah. All right. All right, yeah. So Nick, you went to Ohio State, so did Roy. Mm-hmm. And you were in
Go Buckeyes.
Go Buckeyes.
Yeah, go Bucks.
And you were in the engineering program?
Yep, correct.
So what made you want to get into engineering in the first place?
I'd say first when I was growing up, I always had a passion for, problem solving and understanding why things work the way they do. From a basic level to a more advanced level. So, solving a Rubik's Cube, I wanted to understand how that worked, and I was able to do that.
Oh, wow.
Just pretty much basic things growing up. I always wondered, why do things work the way they do? I was always interested in that. I had a passion for finding a way to solve complex problems and helping, humankind as much as we can, because, I feel like that's what engineers' role is, make our everyday lives a lot easier,
right.
Make it a lot more safe. So I always had that passion. I had a lot of mentorship growing up from, my father was an engineer as well. Grandparents, uncles and aunts. So I was born into that and had that type of structure in my life where, engineers, they're a different type of people, but they really do a lot of, I think they're kind of an unspoken part of the job community, at least.
Right.
Not as appreciated at times, I think, but they're very useful. And it's a great community that working with people like that. And I definitely love my experience at Ohio State. So when I was, looking at schools, which ones to go to, I was really interested in a Big Ten school. Growing up in Michigan, I was always looking at, Michigan State. And out of state, I was looking at Purdue, Wisconsin, Ohio State. But it kind of came down to the fact of what, Ohio State had to offer in terms of education. They had a top 15 program for what I was going into. I did industrial and systems engineering, just dealing more with efficiencies and dealing with labor utilization, cost studies, ways in which, especially now with automation being at the forefront of technology, we need to find a way to make sure, how are our operators utilizing this automation and finding a way to be as efficient as possible to produce as many products or, in my case, vehicles as we can in a certain amount of time, and, streamlining that process with newer technology. So I had a great experience there, learned from a lot of great leaders at the school, and I was able to get a job at Ford Motor Company. So I'm currently there as an engineer and doing a rotational program right now.
That's awesome, man.
Heck yeah, man.
So, Roy, you've been talking a lot about automated vehicles and stuff. Do you have any questions regarding that for Ozog?
Yeah, I guess I kind of I'm wondering, what do you think the future looks like for, kind of Ford, and are they going to be up there with the top dogs at the end of the day? And do you think they take down Tesla at the end of the day?
Well, I think where management is at right now at Ford Motor Company with Farley taking the helm, he's doing a great job. I think he is outspoken about Ford's advancements in EV, as well as kind of our passion towards moving from, I think, at least in my mind, an automotive company into a technology company. So we're finding ways to be more streamlining this technology. A lot of parts of this, whole EV drive is dealing with that technology. So I'm working on the forefront of this stuff right now. So I'm seeing these battery vehicles. I'm seeing these batteries being made, and it's very complex. They're big. They're huge, but they will be. You'll see these cars on the road 5-10 years, and this will be the future. And it is very, very exciting. I think it's a great time in our history of what's going on. Moving into this sector and finding a way to, be clean. Obviously that's where our country's headed, at least, and then other countries as well globally. The focus on having clean energy. This will be important, and I guess my thought is, how quick can we integrate these EV vehicles onto the roads? How quick can we get 60% of cars on the road being EV? That's the real question.
Right.
I guess a lot of people are probably wondering that as well. Is this happening now, or was it happening in 10 years? Vehicles are being made. I mean, companies are coming out. I mean, Tesla's doing great right now, obviously, but there's a lot of competition to come up. So Rivian's IPOing soon, so I mean, you'll see that as well. A lot of good companies out there that are going to be doing great things. So Ford
and honestly, that much ties in with stuff that we've seen this week with Ford coming out with earnings and absolutely blowing them away. Something being up like 8% just in one day, and it's just about time that we see good movements from these companies like Ford and GM. I don't want to put you guys together, but like I see that you guys both like are probably of like fair value within the market, like right there, and actually of like any stocks going forward. You know, you got price to earnings that makes sense, price to sales is starting to catch up, and now price to book are all right there. So like with the fundamentals, you guys are right there, and I think you guys just needed this catalyst. So I've been liking you guys and GM going forward, and it's just a matter of like I guess like getting these like semiconductors over and like actually making the cars itself right now.
Yeah, that seems to be the main issue right now concerning, you know, filling up these cars and trucks with, we need these semiconductors, and that's going to be a problem, I think. I mean, it's going to last longer than most people are expecting, but I think it'll get addressed and it'll be fine. There's going to be a lot of complex ways in which it'll be addressed, and hopefully can be resolved in somewhat fashion so we can get more units out there.
Right on. Is there any companies right now? I mean, like I'm sure you think about stuff like this all the time, but is there any companies in like the market right now that kind of meet like some of that semiconductor demand, or like any companies you see like that filling the gap?
I really like this one company. Goes by MOSY. It's their ticker. So they're going to be doing a merger in November. I really like what they're pushing for. They're really trying to focus on green infrastructure and this clean energy, as well as 5G and these semiconductors. Wow. So what really makes me like it a lot is I'm very interested in these low market cap and low float stocks. It's under 50 mil. The float's under 10 mil. And mergers are really hot right now in the market. So especially going into November, there's a lot of good merger plays coming up. Kind of have to keep your eyes peeled on that. There's a lot of opportunities for, you know, these companies to skyrocket in terms of stock price. And I think a lot of them are very undervalued at this moment, especially MOSY. I've been in this for 3 weeks now, and I'm seeing good results, and I think it's just beginning to churn. You just have to give it some time. So, and also just knowing the personality of your stock is a huge thing. So I'm seeing that, especially with this stock, it holds well at its support levels. It does a good job of, you know, not building up too fast where it has to eventually, you know, consolidate a little bit and accumulate more, you know, volume. But the volume isn't even there currently at a high point. And I think once that gets more attention, it's just going to be a matter of time. So in my mind, it's a ticking time bomb. It's ready to blow. And I guess the best thing I could say is to get in early. So
I love that, man.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chart right here, and I'm seeing it at around $6.43, and already in 1 year, it's ticked up 265%.
Can you share the screen?
Year. I have it on my Robinhood right now, but I could pull it up for you guys real quick.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. And we can just
but this is definitely the money moves that we've been trying to make around here, and honestly, what a find. I guess just like what kind of got you into like something like this, or were you just like perusing through the market and just happened to find it?
The way I'm trying to go about it currently, I'm just getting into it a little bit at this time. I've been in the market around 3 to 4 months of kind of being really more invested and putting my time in and the effort to, you know, look up these stocks, find catalysts and fundamentals, as well as I've been using TradingView to examine, you know, the EMAs, as well as, you know, the MACD, squeeze momentum, kind of trends within the market, as well as trends within these stocks. Usually it's good to bounce off of sympathy plays. Most of my information I'm getting is from FinTwit. So following a lot of, you know, a lot of good, there's a lot of great people out there, and a lot of great people who want to teach, as well as, you know, everyone wants to make money, and you know, they say, well, like 90% of, you know, traders lose money, especially newer ones. You have to have conviction in your trades. You have to know what you own. That's a big thing I've been learning. From, you know, they'll post a ticker, they'll post, you know, catalyst coming up, they'll post fundamentals, they'll post technicals, And I kind of just examine from that, and I try to see who else is on board with this. Why are they so interested? I do my own due diligence, and that's a huge thing. I think
Good stuff.
don't just see something, buy it, and be like, oh, this guy said it. You know?
Yeah.
You can't have that. If you have that mentality, you'll never be successful. But utilize knowledge across the internet. There's so many different ways of learning, and it's all right there at your fingertips, and it's just you have to have the effort. And I've been putting, every time I'm not working, I'm putting in the time reading and, you know, trying to learn as much as I can. And that's probably the best advice I could say is just, you know, put in the time. And you know, sometimes, you know, people can be busy. I get it, and I have a passion for it at this point. I really am interested, and it's something I want to continue to do the rest of my life. And I very much recommend everyone else should be invested somewhat in the market, you know, to the degree in which you want to be, you know. You want to be risk-free, you know, there's a lot of great options. If you want to just, you know, put your money in 401k, that's a great thing as well. But knowing what kind of strategy you want to go with initially and just finding resources available is kind of the best way to kind of get on the ground running and, you know, start making some good money. And I think especially with these type of stocks, pennies are hot as well right now in the market. So just kind of finding what sectors are hot and knowing, you know, profit taking is huge. So these people on FinTwit, they'll say price targets. Some could be outlandish, some could be realistic, but you can't just bank on if someone said MOSY is going to run to 18. Don't just hold till 18. You know, that doesn't mean like, oh, but and if it dips and it goes down to 5, like, oh no, it's going to go to 18. You should have been making money before that point in time. You should understand, have rules. That's something I've been trying to build up the past few months. And
you got to stick to them too.
And stick to your rules. And it may be, you know, tough to, you know, oh, this it's still gonna run. Oh, I just want to. If I would have held, you can't have regret.
Every trader's regret ever.
You have to be emotionless. You have to. Don't get too emotional towards a stock, especially if it's not doing well. Because that's what happens to a lot of people is they're like, oh, I really like this stock, but the fundamentals might not be there, the technicals might not be there. You can't stay attached to it. You have to find a way to escape, and finding a way to profit take throughout the process. And if you want to hold 25% after, you know, you profit take, then great. Then you're going to be, you know, you could still be making that $18 when it's at the end. You know, you could be making that 200%. But along the process, you should find a way and have a scaling out effect, and that will help you so much more than holding and. You know, they always say HODL, hodl.
Yeah.
You have to know what you own, and you have to know when to get out. You know, dip on rips and buy those dips.
Dang, man, you just honestly, that is some of the best advice that, like, everything you just said right there is some of the best advice that we have had here on ROIS podcast.
I'm telling you, this guy's a smart guy.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it.
He gets it.
Yeah,
and it's a little harder said than done, because I think everybody, you know, sees it and then like it's like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna sell and like get in and out, and it's like, but like when you're in the moment and you're in the heat of like the thing, it's just like, okay, yeah, just like a little bit more, like I'll hold it and then like, you know, I'll get like another 5%, and you never know. So that's why you got to be like passionate about your rules that you have with like when it comes to like getting in and out of your stuff, because like you want to actually realize those gains, and you never want to turn something where it's like $100 of a gain into a like $5 loss. That's absolutely killer. So like that was well said. And this is just for you guys again. This is MOSY, up around 230%, something like that in 1 year. Very promising name.
Wow. In terms of like the work that you do at Ford, I know that you're an engineer, but like I don't know much about what it entails, except for I know you're like you make things work. You find solutions. So like what exactly is like, what's just like an example of a project that you've been working on?
I've completed 2 rotations so far, one in paint and one in body construction. I'm currently in an IE role, so it's kind of in my background of my education. So to give an example, what I'm currently working on is I'm reporting to a plant every day. we're building parts for the engine for a battery electric vehicle. So what we need to focus on right now is we're implementing a whole new line into an already transmission plant. So you're dealing with an actual engine integrated now with the battery. What machines are we going to be using? How are these machines going to run? How many operators are we going to use? And when we use these operators, what's their utilization? And specifically, I'm dealing with pack out. We're sending these units to a different plant. We have to make sure that process is going correctly. We have to understand that there's changeovers that can occur with a machine, tool changeover, and then there's different sizing. So we have to do a whole machine changeover as well. So you have to record all of these times, understand what is going to be our bottleneck, where are we going to be halted in this process, because we're pre-launch, we're going to be launching. So it's a matter of, are we ready to go? Are we knowing our times? Do we have enough operators? Do we have enough information about how this is going to go? Because if we experience problems, we better have solutions readily available. So the initial steps are hard because there's a lot of issues that can occur. So I think the best way I'm learning right now is just being there on the floor, talking with people, learning. And, people are great with machines. I'm kind of getting into it and understanding it more, but at the same time, you just have to find a way to understand what we're working with and then get the right people involved and having those solutions ready to go. So I think a good example of kind of what I'm working with.
Perfect. Yeah.
We just need to find a way to, make sure things go well when we're going to be full scale production. So,
I mean, if they got people like you working on the team, man, I believe in it,
Yeah.
I try my best.
Since you're in the industry, you're literally working within the industry. What do you think about something we talk about a lot on here? Roy loves this. He talks about it a lot. He's made a lot of correct predictions about it. What do you think about Tesla?
That's a good question. I think they're a great company. I think they have great leadership. I think they have a great brand.
That's huge.
I think they know their market and they know who they want to sell their products to, and they do a great job of that. As for why their success is so advanced at this point it's almost shocking, but it makes sense because of their leadership. People can get behind someone who's, outgoing, passionate, beyond intelligent.
Oh yeah.
Relatable. I think that's something in our day and age that's nice. I see Farley's been on Twitter more and trying to tweet, but having a connection with an everyday person like us is huge. If you can have a way of connecting and not just being so distant relatively, like CEO of a company to the person who's buying their vehicle, to have some type of connection with that person and understanding if you trust them, you can trust their product is nice. Yes. I think that Elon's gained that trust.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're also the first one in the marketplace. So they kind of have a great market share of what they're selling. I think there's a lot of competition coming up in the ranks. I think there's a lot of great companies coming up and trying to compete. How he does in that is a great question. But I think because they already have this immediate success, I don't see them having issues. If anything, losing a little bit of the market share, I could see. But they've kind of set the foundation, and a lot of companies are building off of that, which is great to see. It's good to have competition. I mean, that's what we see in the United States is, competition is awesome because it brings out the best.
Capitalism.
You cannot beat it. There's nothing better than it.
Yeah, for real.
It drives performance.
It drives performance, and it makes sure that every unit on the road is going to be the best it can be because they want to beat out everyone else to sell their units. So I think that's what's cool. So there's no complacency, especially I think with this industry, is you have to output great vehicles and you have to know who you're selling to and all of that process. I'm not particularly involved with that. That's more of a marketing side of things, but that's a huge part is, who's going to be buying these EVs? You have to know there's going to be people who want to stay to their, their ICE engines, internal combustion engines. People like that. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to find a way to, ease people into this, EV lifestyle because it's not going away and it's going to be around. And kind of finding a way to streamline it in a steady process is good. And I think Tesla's got that on the front runner. So
I guess just like a quick question to chime in on that is just like how long do you think that these and combustion engines and stuff like that will stay around for with EVs coming around pretty rapidly. The government's got an infrastructure bill sitting in Congress, and we don't really know. I think we hear rumors that it's going to be passed, it's not going to be passed, and whatnot. But something will make itself out, and we're going to get like pretty good amount of money getting spent on something like that. Like, what do you think is like the future for these like combustion engines or oil engines or stuff that runs off gas when like EVs are so prevalent? Do we see those like ever like officially run out, or do you think it's going to be like some sort of like hybrid going forward?
Yeah, I think more to that last part. I think more hybrid, if anything. It's going to get squeezed out. Especially, I think it's just everything is going to be pushed clean. I think that it's pushed now, and it's going to be pushed harder and harder. And they're trying to find ways to make it easier for people. You know, there's tax benefits if you're purchasing these EVs. So they want to find a way to make it get this EV versus this car. Right. And once that decision becomes even easier, you're like, well, I don't want, because there's so many benefits. Once it gets to that point, I couldn't tell you the time. I think that's a tough thing to really estimate. But once it gets to the point where it's like, it doesn't even make, financial and logical sense to purchase a nice vehicle, then you're going to see a large amount of EVs on the road, and it's just going to be kind of the way it is. And it's very exciting. I think that'll be very cool to see.
Yeah, that definitely will be. I feel like when I think of like EVs, and then I think of the old, like a Mustang from the 70s, like I think of people like Joe Rogan. I love Joe Rogan. Don't get me wrong. I love Joe Rogan. But like, he has that vibe, and he talks about it even, where he he has a Tesla, but he loves like those cars with the super powerful engines and everything, and those are dope, don't get me wrong, but like I feel like as time goes on, and as shitty as this is to say, as people older like that die off, like EV is just gonna really have like the space to just explode. I
mean, you see a lot of people have older model cars in their garage, and that's just gonna be what it is. You'll have a cool engine car sitting in your garage that you'll take out on the road once on a blue moon. Yeah. And I think that's like you're saying, as this generation dies off, the older one, it's going to be less and less over time. So, the next generation is going to be like, oh, EV is the only thing I know. But then there's going to be the people who are, they're born into it and they stay true to it, but they're going to have an EV. They're just not going to drive the ICE as much. Because it won't make sense financially, and it's just more of a memento, more of a memory versus an actual, this is my vehicle, or this is like my thing I use on a daily basis.
I like it. That was very well thought out. And I think one thing that we do try to do here on the show is like, we don't necessarily try to give people like the answer. We like to like build up and like walk through how we got to like the answers with you guys, because this isn't a show about like giving away financial advice. Like, that's not what we're trying to do and tell people like buy this, buy that. It's more like, this is how we got to like the opinion that we were going to buy something like that, or like we were going to be invested in this way or that way because of like how we see the future. And I just think like did a fantastic job there walking through, like, not everybody's going to give up like their car or like their old fashioned like gas guzzler all at the same time. It's just going to be like when financial sense comes around and makes enough sense to like have people get rid of stuff like that. So it's good stuff. I guess moving on past that, or I heard that you were also a little bit of a fan of crypto markets. What are you dabbling with these days?
I'm kind of just getting into that as well. I've been really interested in VeChain. I think they have a great potential. I think that's my favorite one by far.
Did you say VeChain?
Yeah, it's a ticker VET. They're dealing with NFTs. I know they did some type of deal with DHL. They're doing blockchain work. I think that's a great industry as well. I really do like Ethereum. I do like Ethereum as well. I mean, that may sound basic, but I think that has, my hot take would be it has more potential than Bitcoin at this point, but I don't know if that is a hot take.
Like, just what do you, like, walk us through, like, I'm not saying you're wrong or anything. I'm just kind of, like, wondering how you're getting to that assessment, because, like, I think that's a hot debate here on, like, the podcast.
Yeah. I think Bitcoin leads the industry in terms of, what it does. Everything else follows suit. But I think Ethereum has a different aspect to it because it's not ran its full course.
Right.
Do I think Bitcoin's ran its full course? No, I just think it's going to steadily increase over time at a different rate than Ethereum and especially altcoins.
Right.
But altcoins can be very, I would say, maybe riskier, but I wouldn't also think at that as well if you have the fundamentals backing it and you have conviction in what you're holding. Solana as well. I mean, that's ran, but I think it has even more potential. So Bitcoin laid the foundation of what everything is.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Ethereum, in terms of what it is possible, and I think basically what it can really accomplish, has higher ceilings than Bitcoin.
Right.
But
Takes time.
Is hearsay. There's no way of knowing. I mean, Bitcoin can prove me wrong. I mean, people love Bitcoin. I don't not like Bitcoin. I think it's great, but I'd rather be in something that has greater potential in my mind, and that's where I see Ethereum as my safer holding than Bitcoin. But
yeah,
people can flip-flop how they want on their take on that.
I think that's a great answer, especially because like with Bitcoin, you know, very similar to how we were talking about, you know, the transition to EV vehicles. It's older people, like they're going to feel more safe investing into something like Bitcoin. So that will keep propelling that forward. And, you know, it just happens that the people with the big money tend to be older people, you know? And so if they're starting to invest into Bitcoin, it's just going to keep driving that price up, almost acting like as like the reserve currency of, you know, crypto in a way. And I think I love Ethereum as well. I mean, like, I think it's great. I wish they would come out with Ethereum 2.0. They keep pushing it back, and I'm sure it's not easy, especially because they have to build on top of things that are already in place, which makes it
their network.
Yeah, on top of their network, which makes it, you know, that much harder. Whereas like with Solana, you know, it's new. The way they set it up is like they can, if there's something they don't like about Solana, the network, they can just remove it and then replace it with something. Whereas Ethereum, you got to like build over, you know, something that's already there, which makes it harder. So when they come out with Ethereum 2.0, that's going to be huge. I see Ethereum, as soon as that comes out, I see it just jump, and I don't know what to exactly, but it's going to
be a launch point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like we're just wondering at this point if it's coming.
10,000, that's a good, that's a great
That's
estimate.
my price target for it.
When do you think it'll hit
Don't
that
hold
by?
till then. If you have it, you can profit take. There's no...
Yeah, you can profit take,
No
just
one
as
will ever
Nick has
be-
been talking about.
No one is ever upset about making money. No one has ever been upset about that.
Yeah,
So
no.
take your profits. That's my prediction. So
That's a great prediction. And then, are you into NFTs at all?
I'm not well versed in that.
Yeah,
but I have
gotcha.
extreme interest in it.
It's an
And I
interesting.
have a couple of stocks I've been looking at are in that NFT verse, and I want to be, at least with the stocks I'm owning, to be involved in it. I think that's huge. I think that is going to be this new thing. I mean, I was just watching the Monday night of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning talking about NFTs.
Really?
So, I mean, if you got these guys talking about it.
And Tom Brady came on there too.
And I just saw a video today of Facebook came out with some NFT type thing, and I just think I think it's a very cool thing. I'm not as knowledgeable on it to really discuss it and to a great extent, but it's something that I think people should be interested in. I think people should be getting invested in something that is related to it at all. I think that is a great investment.
Absolutely. And
Right
I think something that's really special about NFTs that we've been noticing, you know, just as time has gone on and people have been getting more into it, is that like Ethereum, they have OpenSea, which is the biggest NFT exchange. You know, it's the one that everyone thinks of. And then Solana, though, they came in hot with all of these different exchanges. They have SolSea, they have Digital Market Eyes, they have Magic Eden, just all of these cool NFT marketplaces that are, you know, super easy to navigate and everything. Whereas OpenSea, like when I think of Solana's NFTs, yes, I think you can flip them and make a profit, but it's going to be a lot harder to do that than it would be on Ethereum. You just need more You just need a little bit more, you know, financial backing in order to get started with the NFTs on Ethereum. But in terms of like creators, people making them and stuff, I think Solana is going to be the main hub for creators to release their artwork, and all of this, whether it be artwork, and then like something else that's very interesting that me and Roy have talked about is like, there's art NFTs, and then there's also like NFTs that they look like art, but they have a whole ecosystem behind it that they're going to eventually implement, like in terms of like video games, just, and then just having like a community where you can like maybe do play to earn games and all that stuff. It's not necessarily super new, but they're doing it at a very high level, So there's a lot to come from that.
And that's adding more value to like the NFTs, and potentially stuff that you can get with them could be like special prizes that you use in the game, and all about like reasons for like driving the price at like the end of the day as well.
Absolutely.
I guess with that, I mean, it would be funny if I didn't say something about Facebook. I know we were saying Facebook, but that's like only a limited time thing, as they've now officially changed their name to Meta.
Yeah, Metaverse.
So weird, because like I see it and it's just like they've been under heat lately, and they're like, we're just gonna like slip into the silence and call ourselves like Meta, and nobody's gonna like know that we're like a really shady company anymore. And it's just like, you guys got like the same leader. It's just like, you guys aren't doing anything different. You're just changing the name.
Yeah.
Stop kidding around.
He's a lizard person, that guy, Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, honestly, it's been funny to watch as like earnings have come out. Like Facebook's been really getting hit the last like week or 2 weeks, because like we did a podcast like in the past talking about the concerns versus Apple versus Facebook, and how Apple's kind of shutting them out with like the privacy warnings and saying like, do you want apps to track? And with that, like,
we'll put a link.
Facebook came out with their earnings, and they said like we weren't making the money. And it was funny because like that was such a nuanced idea, but like if Apple is shutting you out and people are saying like, yeah, I don't want Facebook to follow me, like you're gonna lose some of that like money. And not only that, but they've been coming out and saying like they've known for like a good amount of time that they've had like privacy problems, and also like people feeling like very like down and stuff like that after using their app. It's just like such a weird time for them right now.
It's like toxic.
Because like their stock isn't like exactly something that anybody wants to touch, but like this like name shift is just something like funny that they're like trying to do to like confuse people. But
yeah,
I don't know. I wouldn't buy the hype. I would say like it's definitely something that's like I was still holding on to, with like Apple being way better, and let's stay with like some of the bigger names.
Now, do you guys think regarding Facebook, you know how like Trump came out with that new social media or whatever, or it's like coming
DWAC.
Is that what it's
Digital
called?
World Acquisition Group. Yeah.
Okay, and then isn't the name of the actual like of the website? It's gonna be like Trust Social or like some.
Yeah, something.
Like something like that.
Yeah.
Yes. The thing is, like, I am waiting for, because I don't know exactly how they're gonna exercise their power with banning people or like censoring people. But the whole point of it, I feel like, is to not censor people. You know what I mean? So like, if they start censoring people on the left, for example, that's just gonna make it into another Clubhouse. You know what I mean? And not that Clubhouse censors people on the left, but it's a predominantly right-winged platform, I would say. So my question is, if that doesn't, if they, I don't know, and since Trump made it, it just automatically right there, it's kind of
polarizing.
There we go.
Yeah,
polarizing.
Yeah, and it's taken people like one side or the other. But honestly, that might be like the future of kind of like how like media works, because like you're seeing one thing every single day. Like you might as well see that like somewhere else, and you can feel like you're part of like your community and whatnot. But it's honestly funny how that's been trading, because like in the first few days it was up like hundreds of %. But it was funny because like it's not unheard of that that's actually going to be up like that. Like in that case, like somewhat the fundamentals. This is a group that's potentially gaining 75 million people.
Jeez.
Like just coming over to like join them. So like it's stuff like that actually does drive like price increases. But I mean, like then the next day options started being listed for that, and then people started shorting it. And as soon as options get listed after something like that, that's like a lesson in history itself. Is like the people are just going to find ways to like short it and get out, and try to make their next buck. So, definitely not a play for the future.
There is this is just circling back a little bit. there is an NFT that's coming out that is going to be a part of Twitter's marketplace, I guess.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and so they're I don't know. Honestly, I'm blanking on the name, but it hasn't come out yet. But once they do, and they are like actually fully integrated into Twitter, I think you're going to see the price of Twitter go up, and I also think you're going to see, obviously, the price of what the NFT company go just skyrocket, because it's going to start off pretty low. And get on the pre-sale, people, because that's how you'll make some serious money. The pre-sale is huge.
Yeah.
And Mooner is a huge website to go to for finding upcoming cryptos that are coming out, and you can see if they're KYC verified. You can see if they're completely audited, their white paper, everything. It's just phenomenal. And then that's where you'll be able to get in on the white listing for that, so you can be, way ahead of the curve.
And then if that goes off in the following days, you get that price boom, and you're riding.
Yes.
You're riding pretty, and that's right there. Just from what we've seen has. We're not saying for all of them, and they have to be verified and be looking promising and stuff like that for the future after a good amount of due diligence. But for that, we find that some of those have been really popping off. And in fact, that's how we ended up going through to find EGC, I believe. And that for us, we don't want to say too much crazy stuff, but in our last episode, we told you guys about how that'd make millionaires, and we're starting to see good results already.
Yeah, it's definitely showing back returns. And the great thing about EGC, it's not too late to get in on it. It is still pretty cheap right now. And people, it's not a meme coin. I hate how people automatically associate. No, they automatically associate crypto that is a very low price with being a Doge or a Shiba Inu. And it's just not. I mean, obviously, Shiba Inu is... You could still get in on Shiba Inu and make money. I see them going to 10 cents, and this is a disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. But I think I could see them going to 10 cents, you know what I mean? And then, what's it at right now? It's there's 0.00 something. That's not much at all,
Yeah, it's missing some decimals, yeah.
Yeah, and then same with Evergrow Coin. It's still very cheap to get in. You can definitely... Within the next 5 years, if you get in on Evergrow Coin, you will... be very happy that you did. I would say my suggestion is, because I've made this mistake so many times, just throughout the years, is when you get something that you see has value and there's not really a competitor for it, just buy it and just hold it and forget you even have it. Because otherwise...
And don't put too much money in there though. Make sure you're comfortable with this.
Right. And it's pretty cheap, so even if you put in $100, these things can, as we've seen, just shoot off, and you will make some stacks. Just stacks.
And it's not only just stacks that in terms of the EGC coin, but the foundations behind EGC and why we categorize it as not being a Shiba or a Doge or anything like that, just because it has its low price, is it actually has fundamentals behind it in that it grows and it acts as a liquidity pool, and it has this decentralized finance in which when you're holding the EGC, you're not only benefiting from the increase in the EGC price itself, but you're also, that's a holding grounds for the BNB token that is attached to it that you'll be paid with passively over time as transactions go through and actually borrow from the coin.
Right.
So you're getting a double increase there. You're getting BNB and BNB passive income right there, and that'll grow for you. And then you're also holding the EGC coin as that increases as well. And there is, like Johnny said, no competitors right now, and we don't see it having too many in the future until people catch on to this golden opportunity. And BNB needs something like this because they don't actually have a partner token at the moment. Right,
and something also BNB, they have their own token, and that's worth I think $400 something right now. But what you are getting paid in when you hold this token is BUSD, which is Binance's version of USDT. So it is equivalent to $1. So you're not getting something that's going to fluctuate. You're getting direct, a direct cash inflow. So it's very cool. And then I think I should just show them real quick, basically what exactly Evergrow Coin does. Just to recap, because our last video had a lot of people that really enjoyed it. So this is Evergrow Coin's website. It's a hyper deflationary token with USD reflections. Evergrow works on an autonomous frictionless yield farming and liquidity generation protocol. Simply hold your EGC tokens in your wallet and earn passive income in Binance pegged BUSD. Accumulating wealth was never this simple, and that's very true. And now you can, so the last time we talked about this, you could buy it from PancakeSwap or PooCoin. Now you can buy it from PancakeSwap, PooCoin, or Indacoin, which is great because you actually don't need to go through the process of getting a Binance Smart Chain wallet and then, connecting that to your MetaMask wallet if you have a MetaMask wallet or a Trust wallet, and then, switching the main nets and all of that. What you can do is literally just go on to Indacoin and Indacoin.io, and you'll be able to buy it now with a MasterCard or Visa. So it's becoming very accessible to the public. Here are some of the token economics. 8% of every buy/sell is redistributed to all holders in BUSD. 4% of every transaction is transferred into the liquidity pool for PancakeSwap to create a stable price floor. And any transaction between two wallets is taxed 14% by contracts and distributed as rewards. And then here are the things that we have to look forward to in the future. And this is why I say it's not too late at all to get in on this. So, for example, they have this NFT lending thing that's coming out. And so what it is...
That's going to be big.
Huge.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing like this. So it's the first...
That's unheard of.
Unheard of. It's the first ever decentralized marketplace for easing liquidity in NFT and decentralized finance. It's built on Binance Smart Chain. Our marketplace will allow NFT owners to easily borrow against their NFTs as collateral on fair interest rates without having to sell them. This means you can earn from your NFTs instead of having them just sit there in your wallet, which is what is happening currently with my NFTs in my wallet. Then they're coming out with this NFT Marketplace. This is huge. We talked about this last time. Binance doesn't have a good NFT marketplace. It's shit, to be honest. And Evergrow Coin is part of their roadmap is to fulfill that aspect for Binance. So if they become the primary NFT marketplace for Binance, the potential for this coin is ginormous. They have a subscription platform that's they have the beta version of it, and it's basically OnlyFans. But they always say we don't like to compare it to that just because on OnlyFans shit gets crazy on there. And then, they're coming out with play-to-earn games, DApp and swap exchange and staking pools, just all this stuff. Now, this is something that I didn't mention last time. Safemoon. Have you guys heard of Safemoon? Okay, so Safemoon is I always thought it was like a meme coin, right? But then I started doing some research. And it's very comparable to Evergrow Coin. Because Safemoon, it does similar things. You earn passively just by holding it. But you're earning more Safemoon. So it's just it's not. That's why Evergrow Coin is very.
Oh, so it's pegged to its own currency.
Exactly.
So when you hold it, you get it. I like Evergrow a little bit better because you're getting that and you're getting something else, and the fact that they've staked it for the people that don't know a crypto market by heart, Binance token is number 4 sitting there in market cap. This is a big token and it has a good amount of volume. So to have something like that be traded around and being able to use it BUSD coin that, these are significant things that probably aren't going anywhere. So
right.
It's a safe bet that if people are going to be using this as a token and a currency, then they're going to need and want and have that want for it to be something they can borrow from, and this fulfills an NFT market, which has been big. Solana does that very well, and you see how well their prices.
Yeah.
I think me and Johnny, and now they're doing an NFT exchange or some sort of underlying thing where you could hedge your NFT. This is unheard of stuff, and we still think there is definitely not if you haven't gotten into EGC, there's a lot of potential, and we see it continuing to get better and better into the future too.
And we will continue to talk about EGC every episode. Just give you a little update because this thing's flying up, and it was, I think the last time we talked about it, it had 26,000 holders, or maybe it was,
I think even less.
Now it's at 44,000 holders of the coin. So
still early.
Yeah, it's crazy. It really is. And I honestly don't have anything bad to say about it right now. It's the ideal coin to get into right now.
And their market cap has been absolutely flying off the charts.
What's it at?
I remember seeing that, like, if it got to like 500 million, it would have been like, I don't know, it needed to like come true for like if you put in something like $100,000 to like gain like something around like $50,000 a year in passive income or something like that. The market cap needed to hit 500 million or something like that.
Yeah.
But with it like now exploding, like I remember like seeing the market cap before like it got like blown up around like like 1 billion.
Yeah.
Like at least. Yeah, like and it's just like popping off with like these kind of like numbers, people rushing to it, and in fact, like their web page was like completely crashed by like the time anybody wanted to go on there and like set up anything today. So it's like, if that doesn't explain demand, I don't really know what does for you guys, and it's just like
and today, yep, today the 24-hour volume was it's up 144.66%, and it's at 17.09 million for the volume today. So this thing, it's
big numbers.
It's up 67% today. So honestly, just I would wait for the dip. I would wait for it to dip a little bit. But the thing is, it's hard to call because they're going to be coming out with these announcements of new exchanges that they're going to be listed on, because they have so much value behind the token. It's not just a meme coin or anything. So they don't really need to be doing, this extravagant advertising with influencers or, what have you. So that's why, you'll be seeing articles about it, but you're not going to be seeing, I don't know, Jake Paul, running around talking about it or something. You know what I mean? Like, I just used him for an example. But, like, it just has a lot of potential. So definitely invest some money into that. Disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. Gotta say it.
Right, and it does have all those catalysts, as Johnny was saying. So even if you put like $10 in, you never know. Like, and we're taking shots of this because like I think one way to see it is just like we're kind of like younger, or like this money, like $10. Like if we lost that, like you got to really think about it. Like if like $10 you put in, like that's gonna like cost you, and you can't afford to lose that. Like find a way to put in like $1 or something, like not like an amount that's gonna hurt you. So to each everybody's own. Like find something that like you feel safe with, and like let that ride. And like if it's gonna cause you to lose sleep at the end of the night, like that's not a trade that you want to be in,
right?
Because this is like a little bit like volatile and will rip like up and down in like a day. So don't lose sleep over it, but we do want you guys to like at least check it out.
And also, if $10 will hurt you, I don't know if you should be investing right now. You should be doing something else, like figuring out, just figuring out some shit. But I'm just being honest.
Yeah, man. I guess with that, I want to give a nice shout out to Mike Wilson before I do anything else, because just about 2.5 weeks ago today, we heard from him that the market was going to go to crash. We saw it bounce off the 119 as we've been talking to you guys about the TQQQ.
Yeah.
And then now, just as of today, it hit a new all-time high. So, Mike Wilson, if the crash is coming, I'm wondering where it's at, because right now this seems like a lot more like a party than like something that I should be running away from.
Right.
So if you want to like come out and let me know when the real crash is coming, like I'm right here at ROIS Podcast. You can email us at rois.podcast@gmail.com or just come onto the show.
roispodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah,
we'll put a link. We'll put a link.
Yeah, just in case like you want to like have your voice known about like when you're really thinking it's going to come about.
Mm-hmm.
But, like if not, like it's cool. You did your best.
And I'd love to have Nick Ozog on here again, man. This has been great. You've honestly been one of our probably the best guests we've had.
Yeah,
so
very smart. Thank you so much.
I'm really happy to be on here. Thank you guys.
Absolutely, man.
Appreciate it, man.
And just remember EGC, MOSY, and then Ford and Tesla. Okay, guys? You'll be making a lot of money. Wait, there we go. All right. See you guys.
See ya.
Yeah.